Three, two, one.
You are listening.
$168. I'm your host, Tricky Mick. Alongside with me, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Alex.
You know, Mercenaries mode is just more of Resident Evil 4 that I don't actually like.
He brings the awesome. It's I yield to no one.
So, me and the guys were playing through Diablo 3 on Friday. Playing through hardcore mode. This is permadeath now. We were doing a really good job. We were mowing through most of the bosses. We get to the last boss. I unfortunately died like right before we got to the boss. Rest of the guys get to the last boss and they got mowed down.
Mowed down?
So, yeah, that was fun.
All right. And we have a guest. He is my brother in arms when it comes to saving DC and New York. It's Tross. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you guys? Good to be on.
All right. Time to put you guys on the spot. I told you guys, I warned you a little bit that I was going to do this. And I was perusing Yield's favorite social media platform, TikTok.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. And they had an interesting TikTok came up. Okay. Now, when I ask you this question, you have to think of every single thing involved.
False.
And then you have to give me your answer. And we can have a little bit of a discussion before we give our answers. You have to eliminate one from the history of the WWE. If this event never happened...
What one wrestler or an event? What?
Well, hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to name 3 events, 3 pay-per-views.
All right. 3 pay-per-views.
Everything associated with those pay-per-views never happened in history. So you have to eliminate one of them. You have to either eliminate King of the Ring, Hell in a Cell, or Elimination Chamber.
Ooh, wow. I'm going to go Elimination Chamber.
Okay. Alex?
I would say that, I mean, I'd probably go King of the Ring because although King of the Ring had more significance early on, it doesn't have any significance these days. I mean, the most significant it's been in years is Xavier Woods winning it at the Saudi show, last year or the year before. So, yeah, I'd have to go King of the Ring. Well. No.
Everything
right,
associated with King of the Ring goes away.
Yeah, because King of the Ring, after he beat Jake Roberts, we had the famous Stone Cold Steve Austin speech. So
that's why I didn't get rid of King of the Ring, because then you get rid of Austin, period.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess we'll do that. I mean, he would have been Stone Cold at some point, I think. But we'll just get rid of Elimination Chamber because it's overdone at this point.
Yield, which one did you get rid of? Elimination Chamber?
I got rid of Elimination Chamber.
And
because you want to know my reasons why?
Go ahead. Talk it out. That's the whole point of this.
Okay.
Talk it out.
So I didn't get rid of King of the Ring, even though I was leaning towards that, because if you get rid of King of the Ring, then you don't have Austin 316 says I just whooped your ass, and therefore Stone Cold may not have rocketed in popularity the way he did. I didn't get rid of Hell in a Cell because then you don't have Mankind damn near killing himself twice, and therefore that aura of Undertaker and Mankind, you don't have that. So even though Elimination Chamber gave us, some really cool stuff, you don't have, I believe you don't end up with Daniel Bryan as champ at that point. To me, history significant wise, Elimination Chamber does not have, I'm probably missing some things that would change my mind, but Elimination Chamber does not give you the amount of wrestling propelling history that the other two did.
All right, Tross, you have an answer?
Elimination Chamber, but all the reasons you guys gave are the reasons I would say the same thing. So,
all right. With that being said, I'm gonna play the TikTok so you can listen to this guy's reason because I think he made some good points. If it plays now. Why is it not playing?
Ready. King of the Ring, Hell in a Cell, or Elimination Chamber?
You're not pulling any punches, are you?
No, sir.
Now, I'm assuming when you eliminate one from history, it's like it never existed. You wipe away everything it did.
And caused, yes.
Oh, so Elimination Chamber gave us Edge's first championship run, even though it was a Money in the Bank. It kind of introduced Edge into the world title picture. You think Hell in a Cell, you think Undertaker, Mankind. I mean, without King of the Ring, do we get Austin 316? Oh, my Jesus. I'm not touching Austin 316.
Okay.
People who aren't even wrestling fans know Austin 316. You look at Hell in a Cell. Edge is tied for my all-time favorite wrestler, and I don't want to touch his first title run, but then again, I don't want to touch... Okay. Because Edge was Money in the Bank, because... that didn't happen in Elimination Chamber, and he would have cashed in regardless. I'm going to eliminate Elimination Chamber simply because I can't touch The Undertaker and Mankind and everything that they've done. It's such a hard choice. I got to wipe away Elimination Chamber.
All right. Guys, let us know in the comments.
Just sound reason in there.
Well, yeah. Like I said, I knew there was something I was missing from Elimination Chamber, but he makes a valid point. He didn't cash it in at the He didn't cash it in during an Elimination Chamber match. It was just the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So he would have cashed it in had it not been that kind of pay-per-view. It could have been a different pay-per-view.
All right. I watched these, and I might throw a couple of these at you in the future because they have a couple more videos. Just want to give a shout out to Straight Shoot on TikTok. They're the ones that came up with the video. Want to give them credit. All right, gentlemen, let's do our updated trophy count. I am level 854, total trophies of 26,657 with 727 platinums. Alex?
Tricky. I was on a streak of having the thing in front of me, but then you brought up, this TikTok, and I had to sit here and listen. And listen, how many emails do I have from everybody?
It's entertaining, the TikTok.
I'm just saying, I was listening to that. It wasn't even the thing. I can't even find the thing in my email.
Alex is level 476, total trophies of 8,641 trophies with 142 platinums and 141 games. Yield?
I am currently a level 494 with a trophy count of 9426. Yes, I gained a whopping 4 trophies this week. That is absolutely sad. And a platinum count of 169. And as of 6 days ago, according to twotrophies.com, I have completed my 200th game.
What about PSN profiles?
What? PSN profiles? Hold on. I am at, according to them, I've done 171 games, but they do stuff. They don't count like DLC, I don't think. True Trophies.
Actually, I think with them, it's if you get the platinum and then they do the DLC, you have to get all the trophies in the DLC for it to count as a completed game.
Oh, well, either way. I'm 171 on PSNs, 200 on True Trophies.
All right, and Tross?
I am level 291 with a trophy count of 2,617 and 8 platinums.
And Sid is level 831, total trophies of 22,964 with 716 platinums. Just want to note that's less than me. Just put it out there.
Just put it out there.
Yeah, because I said I would pass Sid in platinums, and I did by 11. Just putting it out there that I've done that. Let's get into what we're playing. I'm going to go to Tross and me last because we're basically playing the same game. Alex, what have you been playing, sir?
Well, you know what I've been playing. I finished my 3rd playthrough in Resident Evil 4 with the Infinite Rocket Launcher on Professional. Finished that on Friday. I am currently doing, my next goal is to do the shooting galleries and get S rank and all of those, and then I'm probably done with Resident Evil 4. I was doing the mercenaries earlier, and one of my least favorite parts of that game is the village. I know the village is iconic, but the village ambush, and that's what mercenaries is. It's basically you're just being ambushed, and you've got a time limit, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. They did introduce, so previously, to get all the guns, you had to play through Professional on a new game, no new game plus. You just had to play through the new game and beat it, and you would get the hand cannon. Well, you can now get that through Mercenaries mode, which makes it significantly easier, or is supposedly significantly easier. But yeah, I don't want to deal with Mercenaries mode, and I don't really. But the hand cannon would make the standard S plus and the hardcore S plus mode runs throughs harder. But yeah, I want to move on to Horizon. I want to play the Horizon DLC. I want to play a few other games. I've played through Resident Evil 4, 3 times now, and it is maybe the end of the road for that. But yeah, I guess the only things I have left to say about the game are, it's one game where the replay value is they actually reward you and make it more fun to play through more times. Playing through on New Game Plus is a lot of fun, and it rewards you better than most games. I mean, Dead Space, the remake, came out, if you beat it on Impossible difficulty, you got the hand cannon, which essentially is a foam finger that is one shot for everything. So that's worth getting. This game also, being able to buy the Infinite Rocket Launcher, just run through the game, run roughshod over everything. It was a lot of fun. So it does, benefit to play the game multiple times, but I think I've hit that brick wall where it's okay, it's about as fun as it's going to be. And I think that it was so fun with the Infinite Rocket Launcher because I struggled through the game at points on standard. It was, a very... For a normal playthrough, it was tough at a lot of points. So I think that made going through the Infinite Rocket Launcher even sweeter. I don't think it would have been as fun with the Infinite Rocket Launcher if I hadn't struggled before. So, but the last thought is that because the game is split up into 3 sections and there's a head honcho boss at the end of each 3rd section, or I should say there's at the end of the village there's a head boss, at the end of the castle there's a head boss, at the end of the island there's a head boss, and the end of the island is the head boss of the game. So they don't really especially Sadler, who's the final boss, doesn't really get a lot of screen time. It doesn't get a lot of there's not a lot of expounded upon his character and what's going on, really. So he kind of shows up super late in the game. I mean, yes, there's portraits of him throughout the game in the castle and in the village, but it's not the same. So I don't think because of the way they structured the game that the villains get as much due as they should. And I personally don't think Osmond Saddler's a very good final boss. He's okay. I mean, the boss fight's all right, but and we're not talking BioShock levels here. But as far as like the development of him, I think that the way they structured the game, which has its benefits, but overall just kind of didn't lend itself to having a really, really like a Zoran Lazarevich like final boss where you hated that boss and you want to take him down. Osmond Saddler, I didn't really care. So that's my last major gripe with Resident Evil 4. But it was fun to play through the game so many times to get the benefits. I've hit that wall where I think I don't want to play anymore.
All right. Before I go on to Yield, just want to catch up on the chat. Rick says he's sitting there eating an incredible ham and pineapple pizza while watching. It tastes amazing. He said he would get rid of Elimination Chamber. No Foley going off the top. Foley went off the cell at King of the Ring 98. Is that true? I thought it was at Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
It was at King of the Ring 1998 because I watched that live. It was the same pay-per-view that Austin and Kane had their first blood match, and Kane, with his full bodysuit, pretty much won the match and became the champion.
So that kind of throws a wrench in the question then. All right.
Well, what do you mean? It's still wait. How's it throw a wrench in the question? It was either Hell in the Cell, Elimination Chamber, or King of the Ring.
Because if you got rid of at least in the video, the logic was if you get rid of Hell in the Cell, then you get rid of Foley, getting thrown off the cage, and that's not true. You get rid of
yes.
Yeah, because
yes,
the Hell in the Cell. Well, no, the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view really. Now that you say that, really wasn't a pay-per-view until what? 2010s probably.
But also, if you get rid of,
there were Hell in the Cell matches, there just wasn't the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view.
But I mean, yeah, and I'm assuming that we're talking about getting rid of the match itself, and if you also get rid of Hell in the Cell, Kane's debut was at Hell in the Cell, which Undertaker fought Shawn Michaels, and correct. You got to get rid of that too. So,
so I guess the question was more or less get rid of the match or get rid of the pay-per-view, rather than I was reading that as get rid of the pay-per-view, but it's get rid of the match. So, all right,
yeah,
so
if you take away everything associated with it, but you're going to say just get rid of the pay-per-views, then that leaves the most historic parts of every one of those matches left intact.
Right. All right. So, Rick says Hell in a Cell was a match long before it was a pay-per-view. You're right. It was. All right, Yield. What have you been playing, sir?
Not much. I've been playing some Ghost of a Tale. I've been playing pick up phone. Some Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls. Played some Helldivers yesterday with the guys, trying to get them their 100,000 kills. Played some Guns, Gore, and Cannoli.
Yeah, I saw that. The name has me intrigued.
So I had already played it before, and it was late last night, and I was just kind of like, oh, what do I do? And I'm just scrolling through, and I'm like, I still have unearned trophies in this game. And they're not worth as many points as I thought they would be, but still, I got unearned trophies in this game. I was like, let's just mess around with this, because it was something that I really don't have to think to play. So I was playing that a little bit. I did earn a trophy in it. And then I've been playing some World of Warship Legends, doing my Bureau project. And that's about it. I don't think we didn't do any Assassin's Creed boost this week, did we? That was last week.
That was last week.
We
were supposed to, but life got in the way.
Life got in the way for everybody today, yeah. So, but that's it. Yeah, I haven't been playing much. Didn't earn a whole lot of trophies. Unfortunately, most of them came in Diablo 3, which we are really close to that platinum. We just, now since we all died on hardcore, now we got to do either play through the game again on hardcore, which we're not going to do. I think we're going to do the workaround and kind of power level everybody up and try to beat the final boss in the bounty mode and work on our bounties and stuff like that and get the trophy that way.
Yeah, you got 14 more trophies to get in that game.
Well, no, that's counting DLC. We're actually only down to like 5. I think I'm down to like 4 for the platinum. Couple of the guys are only down to like 2. So
okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I read it wrong. I read the total list. All right, Tross, what about you, sir?
I've been playing some Division, and then
of course,
getting some new season all caught up on the Manhunt, and then playing some Rocket League with some fellow friends of mine, some Halo Infinite with some fellow friends, and last but not least, destroying some machines in the new Horizon Forbidden West DLC.
Yes.
So it's so nice to go back to that game. I'm not gonna lie.
Just so you know, our boys get together every Thursday. If you want to play some Rocket League, they do Rocket League Thursdays. So
Okay, sweet.
I know sometimes they can't get everybody together, or not everybody's available, like our Assassin's Creed boosted sessions. So, but I'm going to leave that to them because they're more in charge of that than I am, because they play Rocket League a hell of a lot more than I do.
I'm not
Hey,
the best, but just let me know.
I will admit, Tricky, when you joined us for the last session,
I did a lot better than I normally do.
you did. Yes, you did very well.
I just got to get back to playing that game more consistently, but between everything that I'm doing and whatnot, I can't sit there and dedicate that much time to learn all the tricks. So, but with that being said, I'll get there. Just it's gonna take me a little longer. Tross, you talked about the Horizon DLC. I have to say, I found it a little hard to get into this time. And
Oh my gosh!
Yes. And I'm not saying that because it's because it's not bad in any way, shape, or form. I couldn't. I
Didn't care for the story.
No, it just I just couldn't get motivated to keep going with it. Like it's just, I guess because of so many other games I played and whatnot, getting back into this world, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful, I love it, but all right, I did a mission, I could tear it off. I did a mission, I could tear it off. There was nothing keeping me going, and I beat it today. I finally completed it. I got a good amount of the trophies. I just got to go back and grind out a couple other trophies, get some collectibles. Got to do a cauldron. But it was a little hard to get into difficulty-wise, too, because you go to your first mission and you get your ass handed to you.
Oh yeah, like for not playing it for a while, I got my ass kicked, and there's no forgiveness in this DLC.
No,
it's either you know what you're doing or you're gonna get your ass whooped.
It's almost worth going through the game again just to get your bearings back together. And the DLC is at the end of the game. Just no spoils or anything. You have to complete the game before you go into the DLC. It was It's not like the Force of Wild where it was within the story.
Yeah, and I really recommend if you don't have any upgraded weapons or anything, you're gonna need to.
Yeah,
from the start, because like you said in the beginning, the first mission you get your ass handed to you.
You texted me, you're like, I went to the side mission, I got destroyed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just got to go back and get some more of the DLC trophies. There's one trophy that I thought I had already, but apparently I haven't. You got to kill 5 of the new machines, and 50 of what they call sting spawns. And I thought I did that already, but apparently I haven't. But yeah, other than that, I played in the Division. And speaking of the Division, I didn't put it on the agenda because I knew that Alex and Yield were probably growing at it, but we got a nice little press conference, so to speak, on Thursday. Tross, we got year 5 plans, and it sounds like there might be a year 6 attached to this.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for the Division. I really am. They got some good stuff coming.
They added a mode called Descent, which for anybody that plays Division, I would equate it to part survival, part resistance from the first game.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it looks like it's going to be a little slow getting into, because you basically start every Descent with nothing, and as you go, you get more weapons, more armor, more talents, and stuff like that. And it's there is an end point to it, but it's basically endless. Like, you can keep going, but at certain points you can check out and say, okay, I've done enough, and you can take everything that you've earned up to that point out. I don't know if you die what the penalty is. They didn't define that.
No, and I don't think anyone does yet.
But we got word of a new incursion coming, which is like a mini raid. And the raids in Division 2 were 8 people. This sounds like it's going to be 4 people incursions. You're going to go after that. It sounds like we're gonna get more. We're gonna get more story DLC at the end of year 5. I don't even have a thing. These are things that just pop out of my head. But it sounds like they're moving on, and we might even get a year 6 with this, and that makes me happy, considering that the team that makes the Division has moved on to both the Avatar game and the Star Wars game. It sounds like they're leaving enough people behind to actually keep the Division on going, and that excites me because I thought it was dead.
I think we all did, and then they came out with this, and people are really excited about it. I don't know if they're going to do a year 6, and here's my thinking why. Right, I think the story DLC is going to link to Heartland, and they're going to move to Heartland. I don't think they're going to do a year 6.
You think so? You think basically Heartland is going to be our year 6?
Yes, it's going to be the next game.
Yeah, we got more information on Heartland. We got more information on the mobile game. The mobile game, for a mobile game, actually sounds like it's pretty decent too.
Yeah, but I'm not a mobile gamer, so I'm not going to play it.
Oh,
unfortunately.
What am I going to do with you?
I'll be all right.
You'll be all right. All right, so let's get into our topics here. Our first topic is Humanity. If you guys remember from a State of Play, it's going to be available as a Day 1 PlayStation Plus game catalog, and it's out May 16th. This is coming from the PlayStation blog and written by Mark McDonald. Move over International Pickle Day. May 16th has a new #1 claim to fame. It's the launch day for Humanity. Better yet, it will be available on Day 1 as part of the PlayStation Plus game catalog May lineup. Available at no additional cost to PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium members. Whether you own a PS5 or PS4 or a PSVR2 or a PSVR or a TV-owned gamer, want to crash your own levels or sit back and enjoy some action platforming and puzzle strategy? This year, May 16th is going to be more than just National Pearson Day. What is it? Pearson Pickle? I don't know.
It's National Everything Day.
Yeah, they started out calling it National Pickle Day, then saying it's National Pearson Day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, we're getting Humanity for free on launch day. So, what do you guys think?
I guess it would be really cool if you were a premium or an extra person. I don't know. I remember the trailer. I know it looked kind of cool or looked interesting. I'll put it that way. Probably one of those games you have to play to appreciate, is my opinion.
All right, Alex, any thoughts?
No, I mean I've kind of got things mapped out in my head where I want to go from here. So like if you're talking anything that's not on my radar or something I've already decided I want to play, I'm checked out.
I'll tell you what I'm excited for.
Okay.
It's Fallen Order. Or not Fallen Order, Survivor.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm excited for.
That comes out in 5 days.
When you hear this podcast, you've got like 2 days, 3 days left. And I will have me my own lightsaber hilt, and I will be playing some Jedi Survivor.
Well, yes, Yield, I don't want to rain on your parade.
Don't rain on my parade, Tricky Mick.
I don't want to rain on your parade.
You're gonna, though. I can hear the thunder.
But I've heard some horror stories when it comes to limited run games that they don't deliver until months after. I've heard horror stories.
Okay, so let me tell you this. When I bought Samurai Jack, all right?
Okay.
I bought Samurai Jack through them because at the time they were digital to physical. If that makes sense to you. Basically, they took digital only games, they did a limited run for physical copies, and then you could buy a physical copy.
Correct.
So I bought Samurai Jack because they had a collector's edition. I wanted a Samurai Jack statue, so I spent way more money than I should have on that. Yes, I didn't get that game. Of course, that came out around COVID, so there was COVID backups. It was almost a year later. Supposedly, I remember reading this when they got bought or merged with somebody else. I can't remember. Anyway, they were supposed to kind of eliminate some of that waiting, and my understanding is we're supposed to get Survivor, if not day and date, the next day. But if not, that's okay.
Well, it worries me a little bit that with this close to release and we haven't heard anything about shipping.
probably won't until it ships. But anyway, like I said, I'm okay with that. I've got Burning Shores that I haven't even been able to touch yet because of life.
Yes.
I did remember when it came out. Well, I did remember to check when it came out. I was able to pick it up the night before it launched. It is downloaded on my 5. I just haven't been able to fire it up yet.
All right.
So if I don't get Fallen Order by the end of or not Fallen, crap. If I don't get Survivor by the end of the week, I will be okay with that because then it'll let me to finish Burning Shores up.
All right. Tross, what do you think about humanity?
I don't really care.
I don't care either. The game just did not look appealing to me at all.
I've never even heard about it until you just said it 5 minutes ago.
Fair enough. All right, moving on. I put this in there for you, Alex, because I know you like to talk about this kind of stuff. Also coming from
Way to put me on the spot there, Turkey Mick. Now I got to perform.
Coming from the PlayStation blog and written by Odell Harmon Jr., we have the PlayStation Store top 2023's top downloads. I'm going to run through them real quick, and then we can talk about any one in particular. Some of these should not surprise you at all. Your top PS5 games in the US and Canada: Resident Evil 4, The Show 23, Hogwarts Legacy, WWE 2K23, NBA 23, Grand Theft Auto 5, Modern Warfare 2, Wo Long Fallen Destiny, Madden 23, Star Wars Fallen Order, FIFA 23, The Last of Us Part 1, Rainbow Six Siege, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 3, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Cyberpunk 2077.
Kakarot.
You know what? I'm going to say how I'm going to say it.
I know you are, but
say it right.
You put some respect behind that name.
It's Dragon Ball Z. Nobody cares.
Whoa. Hold on. You just insulted half your fan base.
Cyberpunk.
How dare you?
Cyberpunk 2077, PGR 23, Monster Hunter Rise, and Need for Speed Unbound. In the EU, basically the same list. I'm just seeing if there's anything outlier. Anno 1800, Football Manager 20. Say again?
Final Dynasty.
I said that.
Oh, did you?
I said that for the US side.
The US side.
And it Takes Two, Gran Turismo 7, and Football Manager 23, which I assume is soccer.
It is. Yes, the EU calls football or soccer football. Weird people.
Okay, and since nobody cares about Dragon Ball Z, we don't have to talk about that. But is there any other games you guys want to talk about?
I mean, Harry Potter being number 2 on the downloads after Resident Evil 4 is still impressive that it's still up there. Dead Space, of course, has fallen completely off.
It's number 3,
Went out for
actually.
Dead Space. Wait, what?
It's number
3?
Yeah, it's after The Show and Resident Evil 4.
I mean, that's still impressive. Obviously, lots of sports games in there. NBA 2K is, what was it? NBA 2K23? Was that it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's still hanging around.
And so is WWE 2K23.
And
Well,
so is Grand Theft Auto 5.
I don't know why.
Well, also, I mean, Resident Evil 4 brought along with it Resident Evil 3 and then also Resident Evil Village. So those were also in the top downloads too. So that gave a bump to Capcom and their Resident Evil Empire. So, I mean, nothing really surprising. The Harry Potter being up there still is a little surprising, but it obviously a wildly popular franchise. You might not be surprised by that. Lots of sports games. Yeah, nothing too surprising, but.
I would say Cyberpunk, with all the issues that they had, people have either moved on and are picking it up on the cheap, or that one kind of surprises me.
Well, I mean, they did go back and fix it.
They have. That's what I'm saying. Either people have forgiven them and are picking it up, or it's because, oh, look, it's super cheap now, I'll pick it up.
Well, the question is, would Jedi Survivor, if it was released for earlier on in the month, would it have beaten out Resident Evil? I don't think so, but for being a Star Wars, game, you think that it would be a little higher up, but obviously it's because it was released.
Well, hold on.
Towards the end of the month.
Your Fallen Order's on the list. Survivor's not out yet.
Oh, okay, sorry. Well, it comes out later this month. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
okay.
comes out
next
Fallen
week.
Order.
So that'll be the top download game for, if it doesn't click for April, it'll definitely be for May.
Yeah, 'cause you can't
Because this is
underestimate.
March's.
Yeah, you can't underestimate Star Wars. That is a powerful beast right there. Tross.
Well, my head's reeling over how you don't care about half your fan base in Dragon Ball Z, but that's okay.
Listen, I gotta be me.
I tell you what, man, I can't believe. I know. I'm not even going to go there. Dragon Ball's freaking amazing, man. If it wasn't Cowboy Bebop, Dragon Ball Z got the West into anime.
Agreed.
If you say so.
Do what, Tricky?
I said, if you say so.
I'm not the only one. There are a lot of anime fans out there. Those were your two gateways into anime.
I'm not gonna argue. I'm just saying nobody. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it alone.
So you don't watch anime? Is that what you're saying?
I do not watch anime at all.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying if you ever do, Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, Cowboy Bebop. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z will take you a lot longer to get through because if you start with Dragon Ball, it evolves to Dragon Ball Z, and then it evolves into something else, and then blah, blah, blah. It's really, really, really long. Cowboy Bebop, I think it's like 13 episodes in a movie, so that would be your shorter gateway. But anyway, those two gateways, amazing.
All right, Rick says, I think half is being generous. You saying that it brings...
I mean, we can
alienate half
do a
the...
scientific poll. We can ask people.
This might be a Facebook poll.
It's going to be a Facebook poll on Wednesday. All right.
We're going to start one.
Moving on. Hold on a second. Guyver and Fist of the North Star were his Rick's introduction into anime. Guyver?
Fist of the North Star is a video game.
I thought... See, okay. This is my ignorance going through. I'm telling you right now. But when he said Guyver, I'm thinking of MacGyver.
I knew you were going to think that.
That's where my brain went to. Sorry.
No, so did mine. But I knew that's not what he meant.
I've never even heard of Guyver.
I have.
He wrote FFS Tricky.
For fuck's sake, Tricky.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Rick. I'm sorry. All right, let's move on before I get roasted more.
Tricky watches too much
now,
baseball and hockey to keep up with that kind of stuff, Rick.
See, now you're pissing off your EU fans.
I'm not pissing off anybody. I'm just speaking the truth.
The truth is you see it?
Yes. That's
called an opinion.
Yes. All right.
Thank you, Cross.
All right, let's move on to George Yang from IGN.
Remember the PS4 games?
No.
Okay.
At some point, we just gotta stop talking about PS4.
All right, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm just making sure so I can move on to the next article.
Yes.
Next article. Let's go.
George Yang from IGN is written that Sony has acquired AAA multiplayer developer Firewalk Studios.
Okay, before you go any further, I gotta ask: didn't this happen a long time ago?
I was gonna say the same freaking day.
Because when they didn't. Because when I saw this tweet, I could have sworn this had already happened.
Because as far as I remember, this is the studio that hasn't even made a game yet, and they were making a big deal about them joining PlayStation.
Go ahead, Alex. Set it straight.
No, they announced they were doing a collaboration with them on a multiplayer game. They did not say that they had acquired them, but they were doing a collaboration.
Maybe that's where I'm mixed up then, because I could have sworn this is what I heard.
It was Jade Raymond's studio, Haven, which everyone's like, they bought them, and everyone's like, wait a minute, why are you buying this studio? They haven't done anything yet. So Haven, also multiplayer developer, and then now Firewalk, they're doing multiplayer. So obviously Sony is looking, after acquiring Bungie, is looking to shore up its multiplayer stuff.
Okay.
So, and while you're going into this,
go ahead.
What games have they made? Any game yet?
Because
it doesn't say it in the article. So I was wondering if you knew or Alex off the top of your head.
I can Google them real quick.
Well, go ahead and do the article and then Google while we talk about it.
Well, why don't you Google while I'm talking about it?
All right, I'll Google while you talk about it.
All right, PlayStation has announced it has acquired Firewalk Studios, the studio that's still hard at work on its first original AAA multiplayer game.
Oh, that answers that question.
This comes after PlayStation and Firewalk Studios announced back in 2021 that they formed a partnership to publish the aforementioned multiplayer game. Quote, building a new studio at scale has been incredibly exhilarating and relentlessly daunting task. Fortunately, we've been supported by great partners throughout. Probably Monsters helped turbocharge us into setting up the studio, and Sony has been supporting our project and creative vision from the beginning. They continue saying, today we are taking the next natural step and joining PlayStation Studios. We've worked closely with Herman and the very talented team at PlayStation for years, helping them to make our new game even better. To join PlayStation Studios is to formally become part of the family that has produced many of the most storied games of our age, and we are honored. That's the end of the quote. And then Firewalk Studios was founded in 2018 as part of Probably Monsters, which itself founded by former Bungie CEO Harold Ryan. It's the latest studio to join PlayStation portfolio. In particular, Firewalk Studios is another studio that's focusing on developing a multiplayer game, which is a direction that PlayStation is more frequently headed. So there you go.
Okay. I ain't got nothing to say about it. You know, show me what you got before I sink you or praise you.
Gotcha.
No, I agree. I'm the same way. I've never even heard of them.
I mean, good for them. I don't want to rain on their parade, but from a gamer standpoint, I can't get excited about this purchase because you haven't done nothing yet. You know, so.
But from Sony's standpoint, if you do see talent in a developer and a studio, it gives you, if they were to release a game and then it's wildly popular and it makes a lot of money, it gives them more leverage to ask for more money when you purchase them, as opposed to when you are a little bit more needing of Sony's money and their help and their publishing powerhouse. So Sony probably can buy them a little bit cheaper if they haven't put out a hit game first. So obviously be smart with your purchasing, but Sony sees something within them that they want to buy. So buying, with talented people certainly isn't a bad thing early. And of course, Jade Raymond worked at Ubisoft before this, at Haven, and then you've got the crew, one of the creators of Bungie now at this studio. So I mean, there's people who know how to do shit at these studios. So it's not like it's completely out of nowhere.
Sorry, I'm hearing an echo. I'm trying to solve it right now.
Yeah, I hear the echo in your. I've heard it in mine too, in my earbuds, or my headphones, but I've also heard it on your end, Tricky.
Yes, I think it's coming from Tross. Tross, just check your settings and make sure that you got the right microphone and headphone set up.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna move on to our next story. Alex, you put this in the Facebook group, and I thought it was a good talking point. This is written by Kat Bailey over at IGN. Former Star Wars Battlefront 3 dev claims it was 99% done, but its history is complicated. Quote, I feel like it's been long enough now to come out and say Star Wars Battlefront 3 was gonna be sick, be legit incredible, and the fact that it got canceled 2 yards from the finish line is an absolute crime, end quote. This is coming from Star Wars Battlefront developer Michael Barclay, tweeted over the weekend. Barclay was referring to Free Radical's Star Wars Battlefront 3, which was in development until it was canceled in 2008. His statement came in response to a simple question posed at developers, quote, all right, hashtag game dev folks, what's your one that got away? It could be an IP you wanted to work on, a studio you wanted to work for, or anything of the sort, end quote. Barclay, who now works as the lead designer at Naughty Dog, shared his own story and added, quote, gamers don't know what they were robbed of, end quote. The article goes on to say, Barclay's claim isn't a new one. Way back in 2012, Free Radical co-founder Steve Ellis also claimed that Star Wars Battlefront 3 was 99% done. This prompted a former LucasArts employee to lash out at the studio, which has since undergone multiple iterations before reopening under Deep Silver in 2021. Quote, this 99% stuff is just bullshit, the former employee claimed to GameSpot at the time. A generous estimate would be 75% of a mediocre game, end quote. They went on to claim that Free Radical continually missed milestones and that the game didn't work in 2007, but that LucasArts was, quote, desperate, end quote, for what was then a next-gen follow-up to Battlefront on the 360 and the PS3, not the least because Star Wars Battlefront and the sequel sold extremely well on both the PS2 and Xbox. His claim led to a war of words in the press, with Ellis posting a lengthy statement claiming that the Battlefront 3, quote, being 75% of a mediocre game was false, end quote, while pointing to leaked footage that he said backing him up. He went on to say that, quote, LucasArts was a company with problems in 2008, End quote. Shortly after Ellis's comments, LucasArts was shuttered by Disney, which then acquired the Star Wars the year before. And the article does go on. But, I mean, we have a little bit of war of words. But, Alex, I'm going to give you the floor first because you're the one who posted this in the Facebook group. What are your thoughts on us getting robbed of Battlefront 3?
Well, I mean, the Battlefront games on the PS2 were a lot of fun, and of course they weren't riddled with microtransactions like the ones that EA put out on the PS3 or PS4. I can't remember when the first one came out, but I think it was on the PS4. So obviously not a return to fame as people who played the original Battlefronts would have hoped. Battlefront 2 was such a good game. It was so fun to play. You know, you not only got to play as like the Republic troopers and stuff like that, and some of the battle droids, but you also got to play as like heroes, like you got to and villains like Darth Maul and Mace Windu, and it was just a ton of fun. Like they had a lot of great settings like Coruscant, Tatooine, Dagobah. It was just so much fun to just play. You know, it's back in the day where there were no trophies, so I just sat there and played that game just to play it because I had just had so much fun with it. And hearing that what they could have built off of and put out a third game as opposed to what we've gotten in the in the aftermath is just really disappointing to hear. I mean, there's back and forth, so who do you really believe? But if the company was able to put out Battlefront 2 and they had going to probably use the same engine and all that and the same not the same assets, but they were building upon what they've already done in 2 previous games, how can it not be good? How could they fuck it up that badly,
Yield?
I only know I really didn't get into Battlefront games at that time, so it's disappointing that it was that close to being done and then it didn't make it out. It makes you wonder. It really makes me wonder if you were that close, why the plug was pulled. Because, I mean, there wasn't a ton of Star Wars games at that time. I mean, so it would have sold bad or good.
And think about where Star Wars has gone since then. Like there was just that period where, before, Jedi Fallen Order, people looked at Star Wars games, especially because EA was helming everything. It was just disappointment after disappointment. Now, with Quantic Dream and other studios working on it, and the Jedi Survivor coming out as a sequel, things are in a lot better place. But back in the day, it didn't look so good for Star Wars games.
Didn't we do a story not too long ago where there was a game that was done and they decided not to release it? I think that was the NBA Live game. Am I remembering correctly?
It was EA. Yeah, they basically killed off NBA Live. Was it NBA Live? Yeah,
I think it was NBA Live. They said the game was done. They just said we can't compete, so we're not even going to release the game.
Yeah, because they took that hiatus and they were putting out, it was a reboot. We're going to do this better, and it turned out they couldn't do it better. So they're like, no, we're just not going to do it. So I mean, sometimes releasing a harmful game, even if you'll make some money off it, is worse than just not releasing it at all, I guess. And there are people that have to make that difficult decision in these businesses. But I just don't understand how Battlefront 3 could have been terrible given the pedigree of the games before it.
All right, Tross, your thoughts?
I think we were robbed. I was a huge Battlefront fan. And the rumors that I heard was you could, they were trying to combine space and also land combat, where you could hop on a spaceship and then go up into space. And in one fell swoop. And I was like, that was just so cool. Like that. Oops, sorry, I hit my microphone.
Rookie
just the idea of you can fight on land, get in a spaceship, in one fell swoop, go up into space to a space battle, and then once you're done in space, come right back down. It would have been it would have been awesome. So, I think we were robbed as gamers.
See, I don't have an opinion on this other than if a game is that close to being finished, why not just finish it? I mean, even if it's 75% done, why not just finish the game? I don't know. Just you spend so much time and effort and money to develop a game, and then a game gets that close to finish, and you're like, no, we're just going to shelve it. We're not even going to put it out. That just doesn't make sense to me.
What Tross said is something I also heard, too, that they were trying to do the seamless planet into aerial combat. And just think about back then, how massive that would have been. I mean, nowadays, you get Horizon, and there's almost like no load times in Horizon Forbidden West, despite how big that map is. But back then, to do it when a Battlefront 3 would have come out would have been insane to think that they had the technology or the ability to do that. And maybe something like that, maybe when people talk about how the game should have been, or wasn't ready to come out, maybe it's because it was too ambitious. Maybe they didn't just want to put out another Battlefront where you go to the same planets and maybe you have a few extra characters. Maybe they want to do something truly different, which we can all respect. But to think that they could have pulled that off back then would have been crazy.
All right. Anybody else want to make any more comments about this? Guess not. All right. So this time we're going to throw it to our listener questions.
Time to check my social media, yeah.
All right. We have some questions from the Facebook group. If you want to ask this question every Sunday, I try to remember to put this in a decent time, but I always forget to do it late. But Rick wants to know, and we're going to go around the table, your favorite dinosaur. Alex?
When I was little, it's probably the ankylosaur. But, I mean, man, as far as dinosaurs go, and let's be real, there's a lot of cool dinosaurs out there. Like Triceratops is really cool. I mean, it's lots of great options, so it's kind of hard to pick. But ever since seeing Jurassic Park 3, and despite how bad that movie was, I still enjoy watching it. And the Spinosaurus aegyptius, like, what a cool fucking name. And then also, what a monster. But I'm sure that the movies played it up, because obviously Velociraptor is not as big or as terrifying as the Jurassic Park movies made him out to be. Actually, something called Utah Raptor turned out to be something that was more terrifying than a Velociraptor. But Utah Raptor doesn't sound as cool. So, but yeah, I guess I'll have to go with the Spinosaurus aegyptius, mostly on the name and the fact that it was, very T-Rex-like with a giant fin on its back or a giant sail. It's a cool motherfucker.
Yield?
I was always a fan of the T-Rex and the Brontosaurus. And then Jurassic Park came out and introduced, because I hadn't known about it, the Velociraptor. And I was like, oh, the Raptors are pretty slick too. So I would probably say those three.
All right. And Tross?
Definitely the T-Rex. And just like what Gil said and Alex said, once Jurassic Park came out, the Velociraptor, I freaking love that thing. It's just so cool.
All right. And I'm just going to say the Raptor. But my answer is cheesy just because it was the Green Ranger's dinosaur.
Your answer is the Dragon Zord?
No, it's a raptor who, what the Dragon Zord was inspired from.
Where did you hear that? I'm not denying you. I'm not saying that's wrong, but where did you hear that? Where have they ever confirmed that?
It was in the TV show.
I mean, I understand that, like, obviously the Dino Megazord it's all comprised of, prehistoric creatures and animals that lived around the time of dinosaurs, but I never heard that the Dragon Zord was a raptor.
Yes.
Even with his short little arms?
Yes.
Alex is going to Google this.
I need confirmation.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's going to Google this.
But I mean, to be fair, I got the Power Rangers on the brain because I just watched the Netflix special.
You're drunk?
No, because I watched the Netflix. I watched the Netflix.
I'm sorry. Did you lose a bet?
Oh my God! Are you really one of those Voltron people?
Dude, I will die on this hill. Power Rangers are just a live action Voltron. Prove me wrong.
You sound a lot like the goddess right now, because I was watching that show with both Sweet Mama D and the goddess sitting next to me, and all they did for the hour was mock the Power Rangers.
These people are my people.
Tricky, I'm going to say that I'm in agreement with you. I love the Power Rangers. I could care less about Voltron. Although I will say that when my brother and I, he's 11 years older than I am, he had a Voltron toy that I really wanted, and he would never give it to me. And but no, I mean, I had all the Power Rangers toys. I had all the Zords, all the monsters, and I was definitely a Power Rangers kid growing up. So I'm on your side. I haven't watched the special, but I've talked to a guy about it, and I've heard some of the things I hoped would happen didn't happen. So I'm gonna watch it and probably be just a little disappointed. But I saw it on critical reviews on Metacritic no, it was Rotten Tomatoes. They were really good. Like it's like 92% on Metacritic. So, or no, sorry, Rotten Tomatoes. So, with only 5 critical reviews, I think. So, but yeah, hopefully it's still good, even with certain things I want to happen not happening.
All right, Tross, where do you fall in the Voltron Power Rangers debate?
Power Rangers.
Thank you.
Awesome. As a kid, I loved them. They were cheesy and corny, but it was my cheesy and corny. It was so good.
Yield, you lose.
That's all right. That's fine. Not everybody can be cool like me.
All right.
I'm also older than all of you, so.
You're only older by a year. Shut up.
Well, then how do you not remember Voltron?
I remember Voltron. I just think the Power Rangers was better.
Oh, God, I couldn't stand the Power Rangers. That was one of the first mainline shows I rooted for the bad guy every freaking show.
One of the things that the guy just mocked me about was, obviously we're upper in age there, Yield. And Rick says Thundercats for the win.
That's a good show too.
I did enjoy Thundercats.
But the goddess was mocking me because I told her that when the first Power Rangers movie came out, I was a freshman in high school and I went and saw it day one. So, all right, next question. This would have been better for last week with Patrick, but we are wrestling fans here. Rick wants to know your dream wrestling match. Wrestlers from any era meeting in their prime. What sort of match? What stipulations, if any? And is anybody doing a run-in? And who's going over? Tross, we'll start with you. 2 wrestlers from their prime. Doesn't matter. They could have realistically fought each other. 2 wrestlers in their prime. What kind of match? What stipulations? And who's going over?
Honestly, I would love Stone Cold Steve Austin versus who am I thinking of? Roman Reigns. Hey, that'd be sweet. Is Roman Reigns the one who's a part of the
Bloodline?
I'm blanking right now. Yes. I freaking hate that guy, and I just want Stone Cold Steve Austin just to whoop his ass and drink 20 beers and to count down each time he has his leg on his chest.
All right, Yield.
So I've kind of thought about this, and it's really hard. So I'm right off the top of my head. I'm kind of gonna go the cheesy route, I guess, and I'm gonna put Hulkamania versus Hulkamania, and I say that as I'm going to put Hulk Hogan versus John Cena. Because we all know John Cena out Hulk Hogan, so...
Okay.
What, you never heard that?
I never heard referred to as that, but okay.
Well, think about it. John Cena was always, the guy who could beat anybody.
Super Cena.
Go up against, Super Cena. Go up against 30 guys and win. So my buddy was like, John Cena out Hulk Hogan. And I got, what? That makes, wow, I never thought of it that way. So, you know what? That would be a nice little tie-in to the match, Prime Hulkamania against the New Age Hulkamania. And let him go at it. I think Hulk Hogan had more moves than John Cena, so, well, maybe not, but anyway.
You got the five moves of doom.
I wasn't a big John Cena fan. I was a big Thugonomics John Cena fan. That was the guy I liked rooting for. I didn't care for good guy John Cena.
All right. Alex?
So, because Survivor Series doesn't get enough love, and I enjoy the team-based warfare, I'm going to mostly like a fan or like the biggest fan of WWF in the golden era with, the folks like Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan. I'm actually going to make a Survivor Series, 2 Survivor Series teams.
No. 1 wrestler each. Don't cheese out.
No, I'm not. I'm picking very specific wrestlers, and I'm going to borrow one from the Attitude Era because he was technically wrestling while all the others were still wrestling. So it could have happened. So I'm going to pick Survivor Series teams, and you're going to shut your mouth, Tricky Mick.
Sorry, Rick.
Your role.
Sorry, Rick.
Rick. I'm sure Rick is pleased as punch. Rick is a good man. He asked the question, my dream match. This is going to be a dream match. So it's going to be Bret Hart and the Legion of Doom, Undertaker and Jake the Snake Roberts versus Ted DiBiase, Demolition, Mr. Perfect, and Kane. How about that?
All right. Now, going back to all your matches, who's going over? And just for the record, Rick says, I asked for 2 and got 8. I'm happy with that. All right, so...
See? Trying to shit on me, and Rick is happy. I made Rick happy.
All right, so Yield, who's going over in your match? Cena or Hogan?
Probably Hogan.
Tross, who's going over in your match?
By over, you mean wins, right? Or
Yes.
loses?
Yes, they win.
Who wins?
Yeah.
Oh, Stone Cold.
All right, Alex, who wins in your match?
So the survivors on the winning team are going to be Bret Hart and Undertaker.
All right. My match, again, it's going to be a little cheesy, but I think one wrestler that you guys didn't mention and one wrestler that I think is utterly underappreciated. I'm putting Eddie Guerrero versus Ricochet. And
one of those has more name value than the other one.
well, that's what I said. One guy that you didn't mention, which was Eddie Guerrero, which I think is one of the best wrestlers of all time and definitely entertaining, especially with his whole lie, cheating, and stealing. And Ricochet, that man is just phenomenal in the ring. He's utterly underappreciated, and I don't think he gets enough credit. But I think the two of them could put on a hell of a match, and I think Eddie's going to go over with some of shenanigans.
No, stop it.
What?
No, I'm being sarcastic. Of course there'd be shenanigans with Eddie.
I was watching a video of him with the chair and when he was there was the time he got caught in the match with Rey Mysterio. And he was mocking Ray behind the referee's back. The ref turned around and he was just sitting there smiling with a shitty grin on his face, like, whoops, I got caught. I miss Eddie. All right.
I think all wrestling fans do. There was a compilation that I saw. I think it's a TikTok compilation that got posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it was just all the times that Eddie cheated and how he was just the best at it. And yeah, I mean, the fact that he could get over as a cheater when typically the cheaters are the heels that everyone hates, and the fact that everyone loved him for his abilities in the ring and, his just how great of a character he was. It speaks volumes about him as a wrestler.
All right. Next question from Rick. 3 songs that you never get tired of hearing. He says he's maybe asked something like this before and forgot, or maybe we just have different answers this time. But we have some answers while you guys take some time to think. David Bray says My Girl by The Temptations, Numb by Linkin Park, and Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. And Rick says My Town by Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes, Cemetery Gates by Pantera, and Mr. Blue Sky by ELO. So let's just go one at a time. One gives people some time to think. Alex, name one song that you never get tired of hearing.
Fleetwood Mac's Little Lies.
Ooh, that's a good one.
All right. Yield?
SOS, or I'm Sending Out an SOS by The Police.
Okay. Tross?
Sultan of Swing by Dire Straits.
What? I just forgot the name of the song.
Blur song too?
No, it's by Disturbed. Sounds of Silence by Disturbed. I think he did a phenomenal job on that cover.
The band as a whole did a phenomenal job.
Well, yes.
But yeah, it's potentially the greatest cover song of all time.
Yeah.
I'll throw that up there.
All right. Alex, your second song that you never get tired of hearing.
I am going to go early 2000s, I'll say Orgies, Fiction, Dreams, and Digital. That's a really good song, and they're a really underrated band for, how much shit they got for covering Blue Monday, and that being their big hit off their first album.
Yield?
Soundgarden, My Wave.
And Tross.
Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers. I love that song.
That's a good song.
I fucking love that song.
I think it's overrated, but it is a good song.
I agree, but I fucking love it.
I'm going to say One by Metallica. I love that song. All right, Alex, your third song.
Agree. That's a good song.
My favorite band of the modern era, Shinedown, and their song How Did You Love?
Ooh. Okay. Yield?
Days of the New, The Downtown.
All right, Tross?
Bad Company the redo, Five Finger Death Punch version. So good.
That's a good song.
That is a good cover.
So good.
That is good. Okay, so this is where it gets hard for me because I was also going to name a Shine Down song, Alex. And I'm having a hard time narrowing it down. I don't know if it's Simple Man, Second Chance, or Call Me. Also like 45.
I thought that's the one you were going to pick. I mean, the Sounds of Madness album is just fantastic. That's probably their best overall album, which you named at least one song from there. But, I mean, Simple Man is a really good cover. But
I think I'm going to go with Call Me. I really like that one.
Yeah, I would say probably their best album. But
okay. Next question we have Matt G wants to know PB&J or ham and cheese. If neither, which sandwich do you actually prefer? Yield, we'll start with you, sir.
Peanut butter and jelly or ham and cheese?
Sounds like a real dilemma for you, Yield.
Well, it is because they're both good, but since they're both cold, I will go with peanut butter and jelly.
Okay. Tross?
I prefer a warm ham and cheese over a cold ham and cheese.
Well, he didn't say warm or cold.
I know, but but since he didn't, and since you would be putting a hot sandwich versus a cold sandwich, I don't feel that's fair. So I'm putting them both as a cold sandwich. I will pick peanut butter and jelly.
All right, Tross?
PB&J all day, baby.
Wow, okay. Alex?
so these days I try to watch my sugar consumption. So peanut butter and jelly is kind of out. I don't really like to eat jelly much anymore. So I'm going to go with ham and cheese.
I'm also going to ham and cheese. But I don't want a grilled cheese. I want the ham heated up. But I want the ham to melt the cheese, but not a grilled cheese. Does that make sense?
No, I can understand it. I've done that before. That's pretty good that way.
All right, and Rick says ham, cheese, and coleslaw.
I've heard of that. I've heard people doing that, putting coleslaw on top of it.
I don't know. I don't even like coleslaw on my hot dogs.
I've never heard of that. I've heard people putting sauerkraut on their hot dogs, but not coleslaw.
I've heard of coleslaw. Maybe that's a New York thing. I don't know. All right. So at this time, we are going.
If it were a New York thing, wouldn't you know about it?
Yes.
Or you do know about it, but it's just I can see coleslaw on a hot dog. I mean, it's like a picnic type food, a grill out type food, like a big bucket of coleslaw.
Rick says, "Who the fuck puts coleslaw on hot dogs?" Apparently, New York.
Well, here's the thing: if you're going to eat coleslaw, I really don't think you have a problem putting it on a hot dog or a burger or something. I would venture to guess that Rick is not a fan of coleslaw because coleslaw seems like it would be a really American thing.
Well, he puts coleslaw on his ham and cheese.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but coleslaw is one of those foods that just gets so much hate. People just throw it in the trash. I don't like mayonnaise-based like salad type things. You know, like macaroni salad. It's all just fucking mayonnaise and macaroni. So I will eat coleslaw, but like I don't know. Mayonnaise is just kind of one of those condiments that just off-puts me so much.
Just before we move on, just want to state that in New York, they sell hot dogs on the street corners, and they're fondly referred to as dirty water dogs.
So Tricky, hold on. We have some from the audience here. We have all the way from the Carolinas. We got some feedback. Ashley says coleslaw on a hot dog is so good. Coleslaw, chili, and mustard is Carolina style, and it's my favorite way to eat them. So it's not just in New York.
Okay, there you go. Rick says, so New York is plain pizza and wings, but fucking coleslaw and hot dogs? No. I'm not going down the pizza conversation. But does anybody want to guess why they're referred to as dirty water dogs in New York? And I will warn you, the real answer is gross.
Before.
Yeah, the real answer is gross.
Well, I know why. Can I answer?
Go
ahead.
Well, because the people there don't have anywhere to go to the bathroom for the longest time, so they urinate.
That's the belief, that they urinate inside the water. I really expected Tross to go, what the fuck?
Wait. Say that one more time. I'm in disbelief. Say that
He
one
was so flabbergasted that, hold on, Tricky, explain it better, because I was confident when I started, and then I started to get less confident.
No, you were absolutely right. Hot dog vendors, vendors sell hot dogs on the street corners, and they're often out there all day. So hot dogs in New York sold by those vendors are often referred to as dirty water dogs because the vendors have to go urinate somewhere, and it's believed that they urinate in the water that cooks the hot dogs.
Oh my fucking god. That's so gross. Ugh. Well, I'm never ordering one of those ever again. Shit.
Wait, you're not like, sign me up for some dirty water dogs, ugh.
No, that sounds so bad.
I'm gonna say, as a New Yorker, I've never actually seen that happen, but that is the rumor. Some hot dog toppings that people do in New York is ketchup, yellow mustard, or even mayonnaise, pickles, pickle relish, or Italian gardenia, chopped onions, tomatoes, lettuce, shredded cheese, and some people even put a everything bagel seasoning, celery salt, or a barbecue rub on their hot dogs.
I thought you were about to say they were putting an entire everything bagel on top of there.
No.
Since you all love your bagels so much.
New York is famous for their bagels.
Bagel hot dog? A bagel dog?
A bagel dog. Again, I've never seen a vendor pee in the water, but that is the rumor. And that's one of the reasons why I don't eat any dirty water dogs.
Where did you hear this rumor?
Oh, it's like a constant thing.
Is
It's
it
a constant thing around New York.
newspapers?
Well, it's a constant thing around. No, I mean, if you Google dirty water dog right now, it tells you it's commonly referred to as a New York dog.
The New York Post is like, do not eat the hot dogs. Here's why.
Yeah. I just Googled dirty water dogs. It says the expression dirty water dog often refers to the hot dog push carts in New York City that cook the hot dogs in vats of water that look dirty. Many hot dogs are cooked in the same water, releasing their excess salt and fat, making the water look dirty. That's what it says.
Well, not to accuse anybody of anything gross like pissing in the hot dog water, you would have to imagine that given how many hot dogs they might sell during the day and how long they're out there, they may not have the time to clean that shit as much as they should.
Well, yeah, that's definitely the case, but I'm saying, New Yorkers are not exactly the most polite people in the world. So
Well, we knew that shit.
So rumors get started, and
Except for Andy.
Rick says, I mean, they don't want you to see them, do they? And it says, if you see them, the jig is up. Well, that is true. But
Hey, I was about to name that name earlier for one of the Rick's songs question. The jig is up, the news is out, they finally found me, little Styx renegade.
but I mean, to be fair, Rick, these vendors aren't exactly like covered around places, and these carts are like pretty much out in the open. So if they are peeing, chances are somebody has seen them at some time.
Well, also, they probably don't want to walk away from their carts to use the bathroom, because if they do, people are just going to come steal hot dogs.
That's often the case too.
I don't know, Tricky. It sounds like you're besmirching. This is an urban legend, a New York urban legend. You're just besmirching the poor hot dog vendor.
Listen, some of these vendors are just straight up assholes. I mean, I remember.
I'm sure that they've been assholes. That people have been assholes to them too, to make them that way.
I've been. Obviously I grew up in New York, and I remember when you used to go to one of those vendors, the hot dog cost 75 cents, and you would often get like a pretzel and a soda, and you could get like two hot dogs, a pretzel, and a soda, and maybe spend $5. Now the hot dog alone is $5.
Not if you go to Costco.
I'm talking about the vendors, Alex.
Wouldn't you rather get one from Costco than the ones from the hot dog vendors? So the moral of the story is, make it yourself, or get it at a ballpark.
I don't trust ballparks either.
Or wait, do you not eat ballpark food? What is the point of going to a baseball park then if you're not going to eat the food to keep you busy?
Because I'm not
while the time baseball is going on.
I'm not spending $18 on a beer,
dude. I'm like, I'll be there for 3 innings. All right, I'm gonna eat, and after I'm done eating, all right, I'm bored. It's time to go. Although I will say that the ballpark here in Louisville has a brewery attached to it and a smokehouse.
Can you say that word again?
A brewery, a smokehouse.
Good. Sorry.
A place where they brew beer. So if you get bored with the game, you can always go down to the restaurant and get some delicious food.
Rick
It's
says
a pretty dynamite combination.
Rick says IKEA used to sell hot dogs for 50 pence. I guess that's 50 cents in our money.
Well, I'm sure it's not one-to-one, Tricky.
Well, no, I'm just saying pence, cents, and I think that's like the equivalent. But
Yes,
Dr.
Seuss, they do rhyme.
The exchange rate's probably different. But didn't we have a story like not too long ago? Daryl was saying like Costco or somebody said that they weren't going to raise the prices of their hot dogs.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the Costco hot dogs.
Is it Costco? Okay.
Wait, was it Daryl or was it Joe? I think it might have been Joe. It was obviously an American because
I think it was Daryl, honestly.
Wait a minute, do they have Costco over across the pond? Rick, get back to us. If not now, later on.
All right, so let's go into our topic of the week.
And I find it really funny that you picked this topic because I saw this a few hours ago and tagged my buddy in on this exact article who's a big Soul Reaver guy.
Yield. I got some breaking news for you.
What's that?
The reason this is the top of the week is because you made that post.
Oh, okay.
Rick says no Costco across the pond.
Oh, all right. So yeah, they would have to be an American, then they'll raise the specter of the cheap ass hot dogs.
All right, topic of the week. A Soul Reaver remake is the perfect way to bring the series back on the PS5. This is coming from GamesRadar.com and written by... There's no author tag, unless it's at the bottom. Hold on. Let me scroll to the bottom real quick. Oh, Leon Hurley is the author. All right, so I don't really want to talk about Soul Reaver, so to speak, although I'm sure you do. But this is going to lead to a bigger question and conversation. All right, so the article reads, will we ever see a Soul Reaver game? It's a good question, but one we hope developer Crystal Dynamics will answer sooner rather than later. It was announced in early 2022 that Square Enix had sold Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal to Embracer Group for an estimated $300 million. A deal which includes classic IPs as Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and Legacy of Kain. Demand for Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver remake resurfaced on September 8th following the news that Crystal Dynamics now has control of Tomb Raider and Legacy of Kain IPs. Fans have long requested a Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver remake, and Crystal Dynamics is now in a better position to deliver. It's easy to understand why a Soul Reaver remake is so desired. The original is a classic, and while being over 2 decades old, revisiting Ramsel's time-bending, dimension-shifting odyssey backed by today's technology could be something special indeed. So, could we see a new Soul Reaver ever happen? Only time will tell. But for now, join us as we explore everything we'd like to see in a Soul Reaver remake. Now, I'm not going to go into all of that because that's an opinion piece. But my question to you, gentlemen, what series has long been forgotten that you would like to see come back? Tross, we'll start with you, sir.
Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper needs to come back. It's one of my favorite games that I played as a kid. And honestly, it hasn't got the love it's deserved. I mean, you got Ratchet and Clank, they got their remake. You got Resident Evil, they're getting the remake. We need a Sly Cooper game.
Spyro got his remake.
Yeah, we need a Sly Cooper game. 100%.
But do you want a remake or do you want a Sly Cooper 5?
Yes.
Both. I want both.
Don't hide your feelings, Yield.
Yeah, both are good.
All right, so Yield will go to you. What's your series that you want to come back?
If Alex has got one, go to Alex. I'm trying to think of one. Sly Cooper's really good. I'm not piggybacking on that. I got to think of one.
To be honest, I thought you were going to say Siphon Filter, but that's been your go-to for years. Alex, do you have an answer?
It has been. You know what? I may go to that, but I'll think.
Alex, you have an answer?
I'll go with War of the Monsters, currently available on PlayStation Plus underneath the classic catalog. It was a PS2 game, giant monster fighting game in like big open cities, and it had a very like drive-in movie presentation to it. Lots of cool. I think it was made by the same studio that did Twisted Metal Black, but it was a cool concept. They had some cool things in there, like like the San Francisco level, you could cause an earthquake to happen, and like the level would open up. So, I mean, lots of cool monsters. Obviously the fighting mechanics were kind of shallow, so you could only have so much fun with it. But I definitely think that it's a game that could, especially on the PS5, you could do a lot of fun things with.
All right. I'm just trying to confirm something here real quick. Okay. I thought maybe it did get remade, but to give you a chance to give another answer. My answer, and Yield, I'm just giving you more time.
That's fine.
My answer is going to be SOCOM. I think when SOCOM came out with the technology of being able to talk to your teammates and deploy them or hold them back or tell them to open fire, stuff like that, that was ahead of its time, and I think that we didn't appreciate it then. But I think with today's technology, that would be phenomenal, especially if you could wear a headset or we got the microphones in our controllers nowadays. I think SOCOM could really use a reboot, if not be a whole entire game brought back. All right, so Yield, you got an answer, or do you want me to stall a little bit more?
No, I got an answer.
Go ahead. What's your answer?
And you weren't wrong. Let's do Siphonfelder.
Okay.
I mean, why not? I mean, the game's awesome. Story holds up. It needs remade. Make it happen, Ben Studio.
Maybe that's the game they're working on, since they're not working on Days Gone 2.
Why you gotta be that like that?
Sorry. So Rick has some two things here. He goes Earthworm Jim.
Never played. Well, I guess I kind of played it once. It was enjoyable, but I wasn't a big fan of it.
And then he goes on to say the Strike series, like Desert Jungle, etc. I'm not too familiar with that.
From the PS1, I played Nuclear Strike and Desert Strike. If that's what he's talking about, top-down helicopter game, is that what you're talking about, Rick?
Give him some time to answer.
Yeah, I am.
I think we'll get. He said yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'd be for that. Desert Strike and Nuclear Strike, those were fun games. That was at the time where Sony was doing live action cutscenes where they were getting like actors and stuff, so your cutscenes weren't animated. They were an actual actor. And those games were dope. For a helicopter game, those were pretty good.
All right. Just for anybody, I know we're wrapping up the show, but Harley's starting to get a little vocal, so sorry if she's whining in the background. All right. I think we're going to get a Sly Cooper game in the future. I think I think that's definitely
5
coming.
or are you thinking remake?
I'm thinking.
Go. I'm setting you up.
I know. I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking
throw a softball in there.
I'm thinking a remake is less likely because we've gotten the Sly Cooper collection, which was kind of like a remaster.
Okay.
Well, and the Sly Cooper games were cel shaded, so they're a very specific style, and they still look good. They still hold up. So it's not like something that's like ugly and muddy these days because it came out in the early days of the GameCube or something like that, or the PS2. Those games still, they were on the PS2, yes, but they still look good because of the graphical style they chose and the design style. So I don't think they would benefit as much from a graphical overhaul.
Yeah, so I think 5 is more likely than a remake or a remaster.
And I'm sure Sony is tired of hearing Sly Cooper fans talk about how a cliffhanger, like how they left off on a cliffhanger in the 4th game. So they probably want to finish that story.
All right. Any other honorable mentions that you want to say?
Twisted Metal 2 as a remake would be great. Like if we're not going to get a new Twisted Metal game, or if that got shot in the foot with the 2013 David Jaffe Helm game, I think it was 2013. Then give us Twisted Metal 2.
Demolition Racer was a pretty slick PS1 little diamond in the rough racing game where you not only... So your goal wasn't just to finish first, second, or third. You had to accumulate points as you ran through the pack. And that would be by either T-boning, spinning the guy out, death from above, wrecking him into somebody else. So you couldn't just and then your points were then multiplied by how you finished. There was a multiplication assigned to your finishing position. So you couldn't just run to the front and then run away with it, because then you didn't get any demolition points. So you had to strategically beat and bang your way through the pack to rack up points, and then make your way, then you want to be like, okay, I think I'm good enough, but you don't want to damage your car to where you wreck blow yourself up, and then, make your dash to the front. And there was only like 5-6 laps to do that with. So it was kind of chaotic. I think a game like that was a PS1 game. I think a game like that modernized would be pretty cool.
I'm gonna throw one out there, and I don't know if Tross, either you or Yield, had access to a Dreamcast, but Power Stone, the Power Stone series, I would love to see that make a comeback, and Sega revive that and put it on modern consoles. Because obviously, Nintendo has their party brawler, their in Super Smash Brothers, and Power Stone could be the party brawler for the PlayStation or the put it on all consoles, who cares, but it could be the party console or party game for PlayStation and Xbox.
I would say
Go ahead, Tross.
Oh, sorry.
Ooh, no, Resistance. No, yeah, that would be good.
Either a new one or remake the new old ones. That would be great.
Well, and look at it this way. I will say that with Resistance, usually series don't end on a high point, but to me, Resistance 3 was the high point of that series. Like, it just got better and better. And to end on that note, like, yeah, it's good to end on a note, on a good note. I know that they had Burning Skies was after Resistance Retribution. Both those games were after 3. I forget where they fall in the timeline, but I don't think Resistance.
Burning Skies took place from a different perspective.
Okay, I was saying, like, time wise, like release wise, I don't think that 3 was the last one, but on consoles it was, and I think that to follow up that story would be good, or hell, to play Resistance 3 again. Like, I would go back and play that game if they remade it from the ground up.
Same.
All right, I'm back. I had to get Harley out of the cage. She's now terrorizing me. So if you're watching on Twitter or on YouTube, Harley is destroying my podcast equipment right now.
Being a fan of World War II, if you remember, or if you want to go look up, the NES game called Silent Service, I think a submarine game on modern consoles would be pretty dope.
All right. At this point, because I have to, because Harley's out trying to destroy everything. We're going to wrap up the show. You want to lead us off with our shout-outs? Yield.
So, a shout-out to everybody who was hanging out in the Facebook group. Named off the top of my head was Rick and Matt G.
You mean Twitch.
Or Twitch, sorry. Shout-out to Tross. Can't speak right now, for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Shout-out for Alex and Tricky for recording tonight. A shout out to our True Trophies team, Raiders of the Lost Trophy. Terribly sorry this week that I ended up in the negative, but I'm glad you guys pulled us into the positive, so I will try to do better this week. And as always, shout out to the pimps and the madams of the Whoredom. Thank you for listening, hanging out with us, interacting with us on social media, and a final shout out to Gareth for the community events that he's running.
Speaking of Gareth, he did send in some audio. I forgot to mention it, so I'm going to patch it in at the end of the show. All right, Alex, your shout-outs. Oh, my. Harley. Sorry.
That's what you get for keeping that sweet dog in the crate for so long.
I'm trying to play with her. She's trying to eat my headphones.
Well, if it's not a PlayStation 5 power cord, it's the headphones. Give a shout out to the listeners, the fuel to the fire, those Trophy Horrors, the great people we had in the chat, and just our community in general who continue to compel us forward and push this show to even greater heights. Thank you all for continued support. This community and the show obviously don't exist without you, so you're the real backbone to everything. Give a shout out to Tricky, who's currently playing with his dog, and that's not a euphemism. Also, as well as Yield and our friend Tross for coming on for what? Tross, this is your third time on the show?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Welcome back, sir. Glad to have you back, even if Tricky isn't the nicest to you.
So, what are you talking about?
Should hear him when we play the division. He's
because I'm constantly having to pick your ass up because you die.
Wait, does he yell? Does he get frustrated and yell at his partners on the division?
Yes, he does.
Tross, you damn liar.
You do sometimes.
I yell at you because you keep going out and dying. I have to go pick your ass up.
That was very aggressive, Tricky. I don't think we need that on this family podcast, on this uncensored family podcast.
Yeah, okay, fuck you.
Putting that stamp on there. Anyway, thanks for coming on, Tross. Yield and I appreciate you, even if not everyone does. And last but not least, give a shout out to my loving and awesome girlfriend, Ashley, who maybe tonight, if we get done soon enough, which, we're getting done here before 9, go watch the Power Ranger special that I've been waiting to watch because I had to edit the podcast last week. Grr.
Oh, you poor baby.
Yeah.
I got to edit this week.
Yeah, but it's a much shorter show this week.
It's an hour and a half.
Yeah, but I have to deal with Tross's echo.
Oh, wow. If you're not yelling at him for the Division 2, you're throwing him under the bus for something.
All right,
I got you.
Tross,
Did you just give a chef's kiss for when I said that you...
No, I'm kissing...
Tross?
I'm kissing...
on
oh,
public
God,
airwaves?
Harley! God, my mouth was open, Harley!
Wait. Did Harley just lick inside your mouth?
She just licked my upper gum.
That's how you know she loves you.
Will you stop?
Harley, kissing a smoker's no fun.
Tross, your shout-outs.
Shout out to, of course, the community for just being awesome, listening to the show. Shout out to Tricky, Alex, and Yield for having me on the show. Always a good time talking with you guys. And shout out to my wife and my future son. Just letting me get on the podcast and letting me do our thing and just having a good time.
All right, and I want to give a shout out to everybody that listens. Thank you very much. Shout out to the Twitch chat, which I can't pull up right now because I have a dog in my arms. Shout out to everybody, Rick, Nitro, everybody that normally joins us. Shout out to Sweet Mama D. Shout out to the Goddess. Shout out to Harley, who's becoming an honorary 5th chair on this show right now.
Puppies, aren't they grand?
Mm-hmm. You know what? I love this dog to death, but she's in that puppy stage where she's chewing on everything. Like, I want to let her run around the house, but, I'd lose power cables.
Well, you got to make sure they're put up or boxed out where she can't get to them.
Well, they are, but, I mean, the amount of wires that are just in my studio alone, I can't hide every wire, and she does like to jump.
It sounds like a fire hazard to me.
Well, no, they're tied up and they're neatly put, but she likes to get up there and gnaw and pull one down and knock everything out of whack. I mean, she already chewed through a PlayStation 5 power cable as I was trying to boost with Yield last week.
That was funny when we found out what happened.
Does Harley have any toys to play with?
She has lots of toys to play with, but she gets out of the cage and it's like she goes and grabs a sock or she grabs this paper towel.
Puppy. That's what they do.
I'm not really complaining about it. I'm just like right now she's chewing on my thumb.
How old is she?
She's 8 weeks now.
Oh yeah, you got a long time of this, my friend.
Yes, I know, but she's I got so angry with her. Well, not really angry, but I got so frustrated with her that I called her full name, and the guys looked at me and says, "Did you really name the dog after Harley Quinn?" I said, "Yes." Because I called her
Tricky, you're a horny son of a bitch.
I named the dog's whole name is Harleen Quinzel. All right, say goodbye, Harley. Arr. Arr. Now you're looking at me like crazy. All right, if there's nothing else, until next week, happy trophy hunting.